Hey guys, welcome into another episode of Dynasty in 30. It's a Fantasy Now Plus show brought to you courtesy of Fins Talk Sports Net. As always, guys, if you have not already, please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channels. We've got our show will be live every Saturday on the Fantasy Now Plus YouTube, or you can find it on Fins Talk Sport Net Extra. Okay, either spot will be there, I promise. Just look for us. I'm your host, Will U. Ryan, joined today by my good friend, Tim Holstad. Tim, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. We're 3 weeks in already. It's kind of crazy, but excited to see how much more to the median things regress. Things have been very topsy-turvy through the first 2 weeks. A lot of low-scoring games in week 1 and high-scoring games in week 2. So
Definitely.
Excited to see which one we hit in week 3.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you're doing well. Definitely better than Joe Burrow, who is going to be our main topic today. I don't know. There's not much bigger news than when a startup first rounder goes down for, multiple months, most likely. So we'll cover that. We will cover rookie running backs. And, what's going on with this class? It was supposed to be really, really good. And we're a couple weeks in without any big performances yet. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
You're watching Dynasty in 30, only on Fantasy Now Plus.
All right, guys. So today, Joe Burrow. I'm trying to think where he's been going in startups ahead of this year. I think I was seeing him like 107 in Superflex, 108.
Somewhere in like the 107, 110 range, depending on how people viewed him. But yeah, first round for sure.
So, huge star. Not only fantasy, NFL wise too. One of the most known players out there. Kind of gets taken down a little bit awkwardly. His foot's planted. And we find out he has a toe injury that needs surgery. Going to be out until, what was it, like November-ish? Maybe back in time for the playoffs?
Yeah, they said at least 3 months. So probably the whole season.
Yep. That's going to be tough for Cincinnati to deal with. But we're not here to help Cincinnati. We are here to help all of you and how to navigate this, because some of you are going to have Burrow on your team. What do you do now? Can you trust Jake Browning? Some of you have the other pieces in Cincinnati that kind of rely on Burrow. That's kind of scary as well. So, Tim, why don't you go ahead and get us started off? First of all, how are you reacting to Joe Burrow? What does this change? If you were doing a startup right now, we just talked about how Joe Burrow would be kind of that 107 to 110 before the season. Now we know he's going to miss 3 months. How far would that push him down?
In a startup, he's still young-ish. He wasn't really mobility-based anyways, so the foot injury won't really reduce his ability to play football when he's back and playing through any type of rehab or yips from that type of injury. So to me, he'd probably still be back into the first, early second at the worst. He's still firmly ahead of Patrick Mahomes for me. He is still my QB5 in Dynasty, but it's not great, and I don't know how well his situation's going to change in the next few years. The Bengals continue to be the Bungles, and I don't know if that's going to change, to be honest. They probably don't have Trey Hendrickson next year, so they might even trade him this season now that Burrow's kind of down and out. So
Yeah.
it's certainly not a stable situation, but he's a good enough quarterback that I think he can mostly overcome any of that volatility.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I think, in fact, I honestly might even be a little bit higher. I don't even know if I would let him fall to the second round. Burrow being more of a pocket passer than a dual threat, the fact that he was already QB5 in that 107 to 110 range, the pocket passers are the guys that really can have extended careers. I mean, you look recently, I mean, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and it's like, yes, those are all timers. Like, don't get me wrong, Burrow still got some to prove there. Like, he is very talented, but I mean, I would say he's certainly on the trajectory, certainly comparable to those folks. I mean, he's been carrying the Cincinnati team with no defense, so I mean, I don't see any reason why he couldn't, play into his mid to late 30s. As long as the arm strength is there, that's really what's important for his style of play. So I'm not really downgrading him from a dynasty valuation. I think there's this knee-jerk reaction of, oh, we're losing a season of production. He's not worth as much anymore. And it's like, I understand that, and I know that people may play Dynasty on a little bit shorter term than I do. I do like to kind of work towards building that juggernaut that just is going to win the league multiple years in a row. If I have a team that's not there yet, Burrow becomes my number one target. I'm very happy to trade away. I mean, think someone like AJ Brown, who's been disappointing this year, but still has a lot of name value. Send off an AJ Brown for, I mean, you'll probably have to add to him. He was already second, third round startup pick this year, I think. Kind of somewhere in there. So you'll have to add to someone like AJ Brown, but go get Burrow and stick him on your bench. He's not going to earn you any points, so it's not going to hurt you from a draft position. There is certainly some risk going on with AJ Brown, just the way the Eagles are running their offense these days. As much as I don't think AJ Brown is washed at all, I just don't know that he's ever going to get into the elite production again. The way that the Eagles have built that team, they don't need to throw to AJ Brown. So it's like they've got him if God forbid something happens to Saquon. They have the receiving options, but in the meantime, they're happy to take 3 yards at a time and get into 4th and 1 and push Jalen Hurts forward for a few feet. So
let me ask you this.
Okay.
If you are a contender, like very clearly top 2 team, you were planning to try and win a championship this year, and you had Joe Burrow in Superflex, what do you do? Like, are you going to really want to go pick up Jake Browning as your QB2 and elevating your QB2 now to your QB1? Do you think you can win that way?
So I would say, I mean, my initial reaction is that if Browning is on waivers, I mean, I'm perfectly fine throwing an entire year's worth of budget at Jake Browning. Not that I necessarily think that's the strongest way to go. Like, I'm not taking him there saying, oh, now I'm solved. But there really aren't that many options on Dynasty waiver wires very often. So if you can get the guy who's going to start barring injury until Joe Burrow comes back, like, it at least gives you a startable QB. The defense is going to be terrible, so they're going to be chucking it no matter what. He's got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I mean, we saw in the second half against Jacksonville when he came in. I mean, what did he get? 3 touchdowns?
And 3 picks.
Three picks, but interceptions don't hurt that bad. So
Depending on the league, yeah. Mostly not.
Yeah, so I think you definitely start there. I honestly would probably go out and try and get, what would it cost to go get Daniel Jones right now? Like, I don't know that people truly believe in him yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, with the way that he has played, I think he's fine. Like, he's put up good scores in the past, so it's not that surprising that he's come into Indianapolis. They've got a good framework, good set of pass catchers, and he is mobile. So, you've kind of got that for a floor there. I'd be looking in that direction. Maybe you can go get someone like Justin Fields. Obviously, the Jets are in kind of a rough shape right now, knowing that Fields is going to miss. They're going to lean on Tyrod. I don't know how that's going to go. But I think that just kind of shows the security that Fields is going to have as long as he can stay healthy. He's got a 2-year contract, not just a 1-year contract. It's not super expensive in year 2, so it's not like a guarantee that he sticks after this year, but they're not going to bench him this year. So he would be one of my targets there, kind of a Daniel Jones type, just, someone to get you through, hopefully get you into the playoff. Hopefully Joe Burrow is back by then. If not, I had a good roster, so, maybe I have to mortgage another year's first, couple seconds, something like that, to kind of solidify it and really get me where I need to be. But I'm not panicking just because I've lost one player. I think you have to stick to the plan. If you are going to compete, you just have to shift. Ideally, you're not going to move off of Burrow. But if you need to, you need to. If you need to trade Burrow away to get another high-end piece that's going to help you win it this year, I don't hate it. Yeah. You win it 1 year and it pays for 7, 8, sometimes more years. Yeah. So it's like, it's worth it to just spend the extra first to put yourself over the top or cover yourself from these injuries that happen. Because that happens to everyone.
Yep.
And a lot of your competitors are going to look at it and be like, well, I thought this was my year, but my star got hurt, so I guess I'll wait till next year. It's like, just push the chips in.
Yep.
You've got ammunition. Fire it.
Yep. I agree. I think the one thing that is something I'm struggling with on a few teams right now is like, there are some really bad teams in these leagues that have like young, exciting quarterbacks that haven't hit that tier yet. They have Drake May, they have Caleb Williams, they have multiple firsts. Do you see if they want to take the 0 for a May and a Caleb and see if they'll throw in something on top of that, just because it is technically a value, gap between the two, but understanding that, like, yes, you're trading away one of your core pieces, but you are taking on pretty significant upside in those two, at least, to try and still get close to the point production.
Yeah, I think that is it's an option that you can do. It's not my favorite option. It's one of those things where I don't like tearing down a little bit to try and get a guy that hasn't proven it yet, that you're just kind of hoping gets there. So I think it's one of those situations where if you can get, May plus a first for Burrow, I would think about doing that. It's going to be tough though, because I don't think you're guaranteed to get the production that you're expecting out of someone like Drake May or Caleb Williams, these younger guys who have come out and like people were excited about them in the offseason. That Caleb Williams got Ben Johnson. The offensive environment should be strong again, but I don't know that I want to take that risk. and trade away Burrow for that risk, I think I would prefer to just pay extra for a known commodity. So even if that means pivoting away from QB, if I'm trading Joe Burrow, I want to get guaranteed production. Like I want one of the top receivers. See if you can get a CD Lamb. Maybe you have to throw in a third, maybe even a second if the manager is being stubborn. But I would much prefer to get that guaranteed production and just stack my roster in other positions, and then just go cheap at quarterback. Because like I was kind of mentioning, like you can go get Daniel Jones, you can get Justin Fields. I'm sure Stafford's out there. These guys are obtainable. They're not all that expensive. And it's, you really, you're dropping a few points moving your QB2 up to your QB1 and then putting a replacement QB into QB2. But if you have a strong roster, you can turn around and trade Joe Burrow to strengthen the rest of that roster. So I think the main thing there, and I think we got Tim coming back now, so I'm going to add him and bring us back here. Hey, Tim, welcome back. So short answer that I was giving, I don't really love that move. I don't like tearing down from Burrow for an unknown commodity. It makes me really nervous to take a sweetener to give away Joe Burrow and get Drake May when we don't know that Drake May is going to consistently be that guy. He looks good. I understand his valuation, but it's a speculative value at this point. People are valuing him based on his ceiling outcome that could occur. And I think in this situation, when you're playing for this year, I would much prefer to go cheap at quarterback, get something what you're going to get. Even if that's there's so many old quarterbacks right now. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer Russell Wilson has if they don't win.
Possibly 1 week.
Yeah. That's the way I would go. I would just kind of get a fill-in at QB, and then if I have to trade Joe Burrow away, I want that guaranteed asset. I threw up the name CD Lamb kind of as that's someone I would pivot to. Maybe you have to throw in a little bit extra on top of Joe Burrow because of the injury, but in all reality, that's what I'm doing. Maybe you go get one of the top running backs. Go get a Bijan or a Gibbs. And wherever you can make up the points that you're losing, shifting your QB2 to your QB1 and just throwing a replacement player into your QB. If you can get that by improving at running back and all of a sudden your RB1 is now your RB2 because you went out and got Bijan or Gibbs, that's, I think, where I would try and do it. I'm willing to take the hit at QB to get guaranteed production in another spot. So that's what is your thought on that? Would you be looking for the upside?
Probably not. I would consider Justin Herbert. He's kind of right in that pocket of 26, 27-ish, looking elite again this year with a competent play caller and more than one weapon on the field. Has a pretty similar profile to Burrow as far as ability to score fantasy points and how he does it. So if the Herbert manager is bad for some reason, I would maybe knock on that door. It may end up just being a straight for swap with nothing on top of it, but I don't think Herbert really has the potential to bottom out as a fantasy asset anytime soon. And I think he still has potential to be seen in that tier. 100%. He could easily be the QB6 behind Burrow next year or even ahead of Burrow next year, depending on what happens this season.
Yeah, that's a great call out. Honestly, my mind hadn't even gone there yet, but that might be the go-to move for my teams with Burrow is try and get that. Their pass rate is just so much better than we thought. All three of their receivers look pretty good this year, so it's not like he's relying on just one where last year it was like if Lad McConkey had gotten hurt last year, he wouldn't have had anyone to throw to.
Yep.
I mean, this year Keenan Allen still looks good, which surprises me. After the year they had in Chicago, to see him come out and perform this well out with the Chargers, like, okay, Quentin Johnston, like, they're figuring out how to use him. They're not just forcing him to be a deep threat and hope that he can hang on to one every 4 balls. They're actually like giving him design touches closer to the line of scrimmage and letting his athleticism do the work.
Yep.
So I'm loving that. And then you got Lad McConkey, who's, I mean, he is just a stud, but he doesn't have to carry the team this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, that actually, I really like that idea, Tim. That probably is where I would go if I was the Burrow manager. If there's any chance to get that, like, and kind of the argument I made before of winning the league pays for however many years, like, I don't have to win that trade. I just want to reshape my roster so that I have the scoring production.
Yep.
So if that's what we're doing with Burrow, what about the others? You got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Do you think this affects Chase Brown much?
I think it almost kills Chase Brown's dynasty value entirely. He's never been that great from like an efficiency standpoint. He's been a pure volume player, but because he was not a first round pick like Najee Harris, we like him more, but he basically is just sexy Najee Harris. And it's not happening this year. He's not playing third downs very much. They like Samaje Perine for reasons beyond logic. And he's not breaking big runs. Their offensive line is awful, hence the Joe Burrow injury. And he's still, what was it, a 5th round NFL pick, 6th round, something like that. Like he doesn't have draft capital at all. They have no attachment to him. He's just cheap. So I would sell right this instant on Chase Brown. I would get a couple seconds, a similar, like flip him for a rookie running back that hasn't really had the chance to fail yet or succeed yet. See what I can do for like aiming at some tier 2 or tier 3 rookie running backs, but I'm out on Chase Brown at this point. I don't see upside.
So I don't know if I can just slide on by without pointing out the Najee Harris, just absolute slander there. Are you saying that Najee Harris is not sexy?
Well, his one eye might be, but maybe if you dress like a pirate.
I guess if you're out with Najee Harris, you don't know where that other eye's looking. Oh my goodness, Tim. Oh, it's going to take me a second to refocus here, but that's interesting to me because I was thinking they might actually lean more into Chase Brown. And I mean, he's being used in all 3 phases. So they are bringing Perine in as their like main pass catching back, but he's still getting some of the third down work.
Yeah.
I think it might just turn into a situation where they end up passing more on first and second downs when he's in running the routes there, just because they're going to be in even worse game script situations than what they were going to be with Burrow.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt there. I think the only thing it hurts him from is more of the touchdown equity. Like, I don't think it changes. I still think he's going to be a 18 to 22, 24 touch guy. Which, I mean, you're not going to, even if he's regular Najee Harris at, 18 to 24 touches a game, like that's startable. That's getting you low end RB1 production.
It's startable, but is he a top 12 running back fantasy asset in your mind now? Like, was he before and is he now?
He probably was, from a managed league perspective. He was so consistent there for that stretch. It'll be interesting to see without Burrow if he can anywhere replicate that. But I mean, I don't think I'm knocking him all that far down. I think I still have him as like a mid RB2 situation. I just think he's not going to be as trustworthy. So whereas he was kind of one of those like safe plays that you plugged in, you're getting 15 to 25 points, depending on if he scores 1 or 2 touchdowns. Now, I mean, I think there's a much bigger chance to get those games of like 6 or 8 that it's not a 0, but you're looking to make it up elsewhere. So,
yeah. That's fair. I don't think you're wrong. I think I'm probably just trying to be too reactive because running backs without draft capital it just happens like that, and then they're gone. And you and I have talked about this all summer of like these rookie 3rd round picks, 4th round picks that can explode in value and you can flip them for something better. I don't know how long that window stays open for Chase Brown. Will Taj Brooks get more work? Who knows? This season could get away from the Bengals very fast. So, if we go into next year and Taj Brooks finished as like having a 50-50 split with Chase Brown, like, what do we think about any of them for Dynasty? And it's like, it's suddenly great. I've got Rashad White again, but athletic.
But with Bucky taking over the backfield, Rashad White.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Would he be like dad bod Najee Harris? I
think it's definitely a progression of like Najee Harris is the top, and then it goes down to Rashad White, and then
we're gonna have to do a tier list now of like these running backs are like S tier Najee Harris, and then it goes down to sexy Najee Harris and dad bod Najee Harris, all the way down to, I guess, Trent Richardson Najee Harris.
I mean, yeah. To answer your question, though, outside of Chase Brown, I have no concerns about Jamar Chase. T. Higgins, I could see you if you want to try and flip into a similar type player that's just not missing Joe Burrow and is a similar age and like offensive profile. Like, I think that's fine, but I don't think either of them are worth panicking on or really trying to down tier out of for anything.
I think I can give you 2 names that I would take straight up over T. Higgins right now. That I think you probably could pull off these trades straight up. Rome Odunze and Zay Flowers. I would be, if I'm on a contender and I have T. Higgins, I would absolutely be looking to flip into one of those guys if I can, just because I think, like you said, I think T. Higgins has a little bit more risk as kind of that number 2 option. With Joe Burrow, Burrow is good enough to spread the ball around, and T. Higgins is good enough to take advantage of secondary coverage.
Yep.
Well, Jamar Chase is drawing, every single thing a defensive coordinator can throw at them. I think when you go to Jake Browning, I think it turns into more of a, oh crap, we need to make something happen. The ball's going to Chase. I think that's what you end up seeing more and more is the games where Chase gets 5 consecutive targets and ends the game with like 17 targets.
Yep.
I mean, Higgins can still produce, but I don't think he's going to be prioritized the same way as Chase. And I don't know that they're going to trust him to bail out. At this point, we're assuming it's Browning, but whatever their quarterback situation is, we know they trust Jamar Chase to do that.
Yeah.
He's one of those players that, like, if you can see any part of his body, he's open.
Yeah.
He'd have to be like underneath the pile to not be open. So, I think Rome Odunze, Zay Flowers, the guys that have like popped in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
The valuations maybe still haven't caught up. Like Rome Odunze just looks the part of a budding alpha.
Like a top 10 pick.
Yeah. My God. Like I was coming into this year expecting DJ Moore to lead the team in targets, but Odunze to like match him for production a lot more efficiently.
Yeah.
Odunze's out targeting him and looking better doing it. They have no reason to go back to DJ Moore if Odunze can do this. And then, I mean, they haven't even brought in Burden yet. So that offense could get real good.
Mm-hmm.
Zay Flowers, I mean, I think
that offense is real good.
That offense is real good. And I think that shift is finally there, actually. I mean, we went into this year thinking like, oh, Mark Andrews is going to be a must start with Isaiah Likely out.
Nope.
He still has single digit fantasy points, doesn't he?
Does he have a catch yet?
I think he caught something.
Okay.
I think it's been like a catch each game, if that.
I think he goosed again in week 1. I think he pulled 2 consecutive years of goosing in week 1.
So to me, it's one of those things where, and it's not like he's gotten 8 targets a game and is only catching 1 or not catching any. Like he's only getting 2 or 3 targets. Like the target share to the tight end room has shifted back to the wide receiver room, like most teams in the NFL would. The Ravens just have historically had such a high target share with the tight ends that it kind of capped Zay before. I mean, we'd seen game plans where in the first half, Zay comes out and gets like 6 targets and, he's got 6 for 60 and a touchdown in the first half. And then just almost nothing, just disappears in the second half when they go back to spreading the ball around like normal.
Yep.
This year, that's not the case. He is the first read so many times. I just think this is a role that's going to stick, and he's the type of athlete that can thrive in it. And I think now we're getting to the point where before his floor games were kind of those like, 3 for 30. He doesn't necessarily get super involved in the first, and the targets get spread around in the second half. If he's going to be getting targeted every game, no matter what, I mean, now we're looking at 7 for 70 as a floor, with the chance that he, catches 9 or 10 balls and all of a sudden he's up at 25, 30 points on his spike weeks. Like, I think he's one of those that you could kind of see that for T. Higgins with Burrow. Without Burrow, I think you can just pivot off T. Higgins and get that with Zay Flowers. So,
full agree.
Okay, we've seen this. If you don't have Burrow, what are you doing to try and acquire him? Like what teams? I assume this is going to be just rebuilders. Are you going after Burrow if you're competing?
I'd consider it. It depends what I have to give up, but I mean, if I've got 6 top 20 receivers on my team, I'd give up my 4th or 5th best receiver and maybe a 2nd or maybe my own 1st to go get Burrow for the future. I think everyone should be going after Burrow, like regardless of team positioning. This is a great spot for a somewhat middling team to go finally get like an elite asset for cheaper than they would otherwise, and it's not a depreciating asset. So yeah, if you're the Burrow manager, see what hits your inbox, and if something is blowing you away, then it might be worth taking. But if you don't have Burrow, see what the panic level is. See how invested they were in this idea that they could win the championship this year no matter what. Like, they had all the pieces in place, and now the pieces have crumbled. So, yeah.
Yeah, I struggle with that. I think I agree that it's the right play, that I think everyone should be looking at Burrow. I think that they're really, like I said, there shouldn't be a value drop by more than, a little bit.
Yeah.
But there is. Just that the market reacts that way to these injuries. I think I personally have really struggled with that, though, of saying, well, I'm competing and now I'm going to spend capital. And I mean, it's going to take significant capital to get Burrow. So it's not just like, throwing around some ancillary pieces. But I'm going to actually like spend this capital to go get someone who's not going to help me this year. It's a very tough thing for me to talk myself into, but I do think it's the right thing to do. I'm certainly not going to blame anybody for reserving their capital on their competing teams to see what situation they get into 8-9 weeks into the season as the playoffs are looming. If you need to push yourself in with a couple more wins, like, you're going to wish you had that capital if you go get Burrow now. But I think Burrow's, like we said, I mean, first round startup pick. Like, you don't get a chance at these guys all that often.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think you're right. And I don't think I can do it, to put it bluntly.
Okay, let me throw out scenarios then. You're a contender. You have, let's say, Puka, CeeDee Lamb. Wide receiver 3 is Garrett Wilson. Do you send Garrett Wilson and your own first this year to go get like Burrow and like a wide receiver 4 type, like a Romeo Dubs or something like that?
See, I think the way that I tend to build my rosters, I would prefer to just keep the elite wide receivers stacked and just like I play in a lot of 3 wide receiver leagues. So those would be like the 3 receivers just sitting in my receiver slots every week.
Yeah.
If you're playing in a 2 wide receiver, obviously, Garrett Wilson's going to just sit in one of the flexes, which in that, as you're starting fewer and fewer, I think I would be more inclined to go get Burrow, just because there's less roster spots that I have, or less starting spots that I have to fill with production.
Yeah.
But in deep leagues, I think the way that I tend to build my rosters is to just like stack production after production. And like, I love getting those Jacoby Myers types that produce that nobody wants to value as, a low end wide receiver 2, even though that's what they produce every year.
Yep.
So I end up with like 5 or 6 receivers deep that I can trust every week, but they don't necessarily have the value on the trade market to fire off that way.
Yeah.
I like I said, I think logically you're right. I'm not arguing the point. I just think psychologically for me, and I mean, I think this goes out to kind of everyone watching, like, remember, it's your team. So, we can tell you what the right move is, what the wrong move is. If you're not comfortable with it, if it doesn't mesh with your style, then it's not the move for you. And that's fine. You just have to understand how you like to build your teams, what you're comfortable with. And there's infinite ways to attack this situation. Like, we've talked about a whole bunch of different scenarios. So don't be afraid to, if you're okay doing some of these, go for them. If you're not, stick with the situations you're comfortable with.
Yep.
One more I will throw out just because I'm probably going to get just slammed for my short on him. Jaden Reed, I boldly claimed would be a top 10 wide receiver going into next year. That obviously is not going to happen now that he's going to miss this much time. I haven't seen anything to change my outlook on his quality, though. Like, I think he is an elite wide receiver that is just currently being underutilized. And with this injury, he is so cheap. If you are a rebuilder, even if you're a contender, like, it does not take all that much right now to go get Jaden Reed. I think, 3/3 probably. I think people don't like to give usable assets up for thirds, but like,
yeah, I would say more seasoned dynasty managers would probably just auto decline that, but from like an actual value standpoint, that's probably fair.
yeah,
It would probably take at least 1 second, or like a rookie piece thrown in with those thirds, like a couple thirds and like Torrey Horton. Like, sure, give me
can't
that.
be giving up on Torrey already.
I'm not giving up.
He's
I'm
the next
upgrading.
superstar.
I'm upgrading. I'm getting a top 10 wide receiver.
That's fair. I can't fault you for loving Jaden Reed. But yeah, so kind of like Burrow, another situation there. His value's taking a hit just because he's missing games. I have no long-term concerns about his ability to recover from it. He hurt the collarbone, which actually I think ended up being nearly a perfect scenario for him. When I heard he had a Jones fracture in his foot, I was worried about him playing through it and just making it worse and, just complicating the upcoming surgery at the end of the year. So when he was able to get both surgeries done, I was ecstatic because now I have full faith that he's going to come back healthy. His first 2 years, he was above 2 yards per route run. Nothing was changing in year 3. So, I mean, he's an elite company there. There are not many people who consistently stay that high on yards per route run. So if you can get him before he gets the role that he deserves, and I mean, whether that's after his 4 years are up in Green Bay, whether Green Bay figures out they need him on the field, I mean, it's coming within the next couple years. So,
yep, full agree. He's a buy. Doesn't matter your team makeup.
Yeah,
don't pay a first for him. Try not to pay a second for him, but I think he's worth it if you have to.
So we've mentioned that these rookie running backs, some of these aren't really working out. Kind of valuation fluctuations from rookie draft season to now. And we're only 2 weeks in, so it's like it feels like you shouldn't be reacting, but at the same time, you don't want to be late either. So what are you seeing? Like first of all, with this rookie running back class, there are a ton of options. Who's your biggest mover so far from your rookie draft season into now? Who's moved either up or down the most?
Caleb Johnson, man. It might be Jover already. I wish that it was just an overreaction, but he's in the worst possible environment to not be getting playing time and to not be putting his best foot forward in. But that mistake last week was brutal. It basically lost them the game. Like the Seahawks just firmly took control after that in what had otherwise been like a back and forth close game.
Yeah.
He's not getting touches. He's in an Arthur Smith offense. The team now has a bad defense and still has Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Running backs just don't score a lot of points with Rodgers anymore unless he throws them the ball, and he's never going to throw Caleb the ball. It's going to go to Jalen Warren.
Yep.
It's probably going to go to Kenny Gainwell before it goes to Caleb Johnson. So, he's a late third round rookie. He had a solid to good prospect profile, but nothing like mind-blowingly off the page, and he might never see the field. Like this could just be Tyrion Davis Price. This there have been plenty of third round rookie running backs that just don't get there ever.
Yeah.
And Caleb is starting to trend that way very quickly.
So do you think it would help if he switched positions to tight end? I feel like that's the only useful position that comes out of Iowa for fantasy football. So
yeah, why the Steelers, man? Like, Caleb on the Cowboys would have been so wonderful. He would have been so much better than Javonte Williams. Why did he have to go to Arthur Smith? Why?
I mean, what's so tough is the scheme fit is great too. Like he's a zone runner. Smith runs a zone scheme, but he just can't play his best players, and he just doesn't trust people until they've proven it. And it's like
he doesn't trust any of their running backs. Like I think the person he trusts the most is Jalen Warren, but even then, still not really. Like there's
then
still
we see Gainwell on the field.
Yeah, like Gainwell's getting like 10 touches a game. Like Warren's getting kind of not very valuable touches and not consistent like consecutive opportunities. And Caleb Johnson's getting nothing. He's getting kickoff returns that he.
So you're thinking it's like it could be over for Caleb. What are you willing to sell for? Like that's the tough question, right? I mean, you spent a second round pick on him, most likely. Some people in the first.
I don't think you can get a second for him right now.
Yeah, I mean, but like, are you taking a third?
I'd probably ask for 2/3 just to try and recoup, but yeah, I
think that's where it's tough. Is like I think he has enough talent that he almost just has to be an end of bench hold, and you just.
I think that's my thing. Is I just wouldn't sell him right now. I would just accept that his value is plummeting, but like it might rebound, but it's not looking good.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's a good call out on the value change. I think that's the obvious answer. I mean, I don't know of anyone else that's just looking like an absolute zero this year. Let's go the other way. Who's your biggest riser in the running back class?
You know, it's funny. We were talking before the show, and like none of the rookies are really doing that fantastically yet. Bashal Tutin has flashed, but I was unconscionably high on him already, so he can't really rise for me. In a similar boat, but someone that I want to talk about is Cam Scattaboo, because I think he's rising generally for Dynasty. I just had him very high to begin with, so he's not rising for me personally, but I think the community might be rising on him. He might already just have the backfield. Like Tracy did not play nearly as many snaps in week 2 as he did in week 1. In week 1, they scored 6 points when Tracy had 50 snaps to Cam Scattaboo's 6. And in week 2, they scored 40 something?
37.
37 points on the back of a majority of Cam Scattaboo snaps and angry runs. And it's obvious that Dable loves this guy. And I think you should too. He does absolutely everything that you want for fantasy except run a 4.40. And speed is not the end all be all at running back. Especially in a system where if you get 18 touches in a game, like you're going to score fantasy points. So,
damn. Are you waxing poetic about Najee Harris?
Listen, he's basically Najee Harris.
This is but like sexy Najee Harris, right? This is like S tier Najee Harris.
Cheap Najee Harris. That's what makes Najee Harris not sexy in his heyday, was that he was expensive. He was a first round NFL pick. He was expensive for solid production, but he never gave you like a blowaway season. And I think
always hit that 1,000-yard mark, but never finished like
never 1,100. Like I think Scattaboo has similar potential and similar skill sets, and he's cheaper. And the Giants, I just don't think they trust Tracy. I don't think they should trust Tracy, and he might just get replaced pretty soon here. If and when Jackson Dart comes in week 4, like it could be Jackson Dart and 72% of the snaps Cam Scattaboo, and he's going to rise in price the more weeks that we play. And if he has a one rushing, one receiving touchdown game, then he might suddenly be worth more than you were expecting. So I think buying him now is the ideal time to do it.
Yeah, I think on my end, I will probably, in terms of a riser, I have to keep coming back to Woody Marks. Like I have seen nothing to move me off of my stance from preseason that this backfield is just poised for him to emerge from it by the end of the season. He hasn't gotten there yet, but he did start to get more usage in week 2. Broke off a nice, I think like a 30-something yard catch. Was relatively consistent with a few carries on the ground. So, I mean, I don't know how much more we're going to see out of Nick Chubb. He did, break a run late to give them the lead. So, I mean, I think he probably bought himself a little bit more time, but before that run, he hadn't done a whole lot in that game. And I think you're just going to see the other players on that roster flash more and more. Jaquavius Marks is just going to get the opportunities, and he's got the ability to flash. They can get him the ball in space, and people are going to rag on his ability to run between the tackles. But I mean, he went from, where did he start? Mississippi State?
Sounds correct.
And transferred to USC. When he went to USC, like, he carried it for them. It wasn't just he was a scat back. He proved he could handle the load if he needed to. And I mean, that's one of those things that, like, I don't need my running backs to be getting 15, 18 carries. I want them to get the receiving work, and I want them to be usable on the ground for their NFL teams so that they can get some of those rushing touchdowns. Like, I don't need them. I don't need another, like, Gus Edwards situation where I'm relying on the guy to just fall into the end zone. Jamal Williams type last few years. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. So I'm happy if he shows he can handle 8 to 10 carries a game and then flashes in the passing game. It's enough to keep defenses off balance, enough to affect the game for his team and just earn that trust and roll. So he's probably my biggest riser. I know we were talking beforehand. There's obviously like a big 4 running backs. Has anything changed for you on Genty, Hampton, Henderson, Judkins?
I don't even know what to make of Judkins at this point. I'm going to, for the sake of time and our sanity, I'm probably just going to not talk about him today because that could be another 30 minutes. Everyone else, I just think we've run bad. I don't think they're bad. I don't think they're less talented than we thought. If you look at some of the rushing stats for the offensive lines, like the Raiders are 32nd in several like run blocking stats, and the Chargers are 31st. Like, they've just come up against good run defenses, and they've had bad O-line play so far. And will that just suddenly flip a switch and be fine in week 3? Probably not. But are they very talented running backs that, as they also get more comfortable in the NFL, will start to be able to overcome some of those problems? Yes, absolutely. Henderson, he had a bad week. He's a rookie. It's his second career game. He's been a great pass blocker in college. Like, that's one of the reasons that he was kind of undervalued in Dynasty compared to what he could do. And he had 3 holding penalties. And then Ramondre had like a 60-yard catch on a play that was designed for Trevion Henderson. That would have been a touchdown if he was on the field. So I don't think any of them should drop a single spot in Dynasty valuations at this point. If someone is for some reason already panicking, I would happily take any discount I can get on them, especially Henderson. Just him not getting like the lion's share of the workload yet, people might start getting fidgety.
Yep.
There's no reason to. It's Ramondre Stevenson, like with all due respect, but yeah, I would go after all three for 90 cents on the dollar.
I feel like you're just hating on all these like bigger backs, man. Like,
hey, I said I liked Cam Scatteroo. I said he was my biggest riser.
Stevenson has looked pretty good this year. You have to.
He's been okay.
Yeah.
He's been fine. He is not a detriment to his team like he was last year. Like
High praise from Tim. High praise.
Last year he was putridly bad. He could not hold the ball. He hasn't fumbled yet through 2 weeks, so fingers crossed there. He's not getting stuffed at the line like he was last year. He's always been a perfectly cromulent running back, so to speak. He's just, that's it. That's his ceiling and that's his floor, and that's fine. But for fantasy, that's not the type of player that I'm trying to roster because
I think I'm 100% with you on these guys. The big four, I mean, between preseason and what we've seen so far in the regular season, like, I'm not doubting them. I think their situations could be better. I think we maybe overestimated the situations a little bit. But I mean, I'm willing to pay the same price I was willing to pay in rookie draft season. I think Genty is still like borderline generational prospect, and like we just haven't seen it hit yet.
He's playing.
We've seen
well.
flashes of his power running. That
absolutely,
like it's coming.
He's like, they're literally letting him get hit in the backfield every play. Like, he's still averaging like solid yards per carry metrics because he has to break 3 tackles to get past the line of scrimmage, and he's doing it consistently.
Yeah. So yeah, if you can get the discount, I would absolutely take it on any of them. If you're a contender, that's harder to do again. Like, I'd be more willing to take the shot on Genty if you can get a discount there, just because with his draft capital being as high as it was, like, you're almost guaranteed that he's going to continue to get the touches. I think Hampton, like, yes, he's a first round running back. Later in the first, though, like, I think you can see the vision they have for him. Like, I don't think they necessarily want him as the guy. I think they brought him in to be like the primary weapon, but they're going to use him in a variety of ways and then slam Najee Harris down the middle for a couple yards a pop. And is he going to get to 1,000 this year?
Only if something goes horribly wrong, but yeah.
You heard it here. Tim is calling for the demise of Najee Harris.
Let me ask you again, contender, you have Josh Jacobs, Kyron Williams, someone in like the B tier of dynasty running backs who are very clearly more productive right this second than any of the rookies, really. But do you try to get a Hampton or like a Henderson plus, knowing they are going to probably not fail unless something goes catastrophically wrong, and I might get someone who could be better and have higher value than my current guys who are, volume, efficiency, touchdown plays, and that's great for fantasy, but it's not sticky.
The names you used make this a pretty easy answer for me. I believe, if I remember right, I was by far the lowest on our entire team with Josh Jacobs. I think I had him. It's either high team. I want to say I had him outside the top 20 heading into the season.
That would be lower.
Yeah.
I'm low on him, but I'm not that low.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it and I'm like, I just don't see, unless he does continue this streak of scoring a rushing touchdown every game. I mean, he hasn't looked all that good. His rushing yards aren't that good. He's just scored twice, so he's in the mix. Back end running back 1 RB2 situation. I was trying to get out of Jacobs before the season.
Yeah.
Kyren, yeah, I mean, I think with the recent statements we've heard, if Sean McVay starts mentioning that he wants a 65-35 split, I'm going to listen to that. I know Sean McVay lies, but like we've seen what he has tended to do with one running back in as much as he can handle.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we're starting to see Blake Corum and we're getting these comments. Like, I think he knows what he's doing. I think they extended Kyren Williams because they like what he brings to the team, but they didn't extend him to be the end all and be all for that running back room. I think they expect it to platoon. And so I think he's one of those where it's like he'll lead the backfield, but he's been very, very volume based. And I don't think he's going to get that same volume anymore. I think it's going to be that, 65-35, 70-30 split, which will have some good weeks. And then it's going to have some 4-point weeks in there when they don't score and he doesn't catch passes.
Yep.
So, I would absolutely be going for those rookies.
Let me go harder then. Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley.
Nah, I'm keeping them.
Okay. You're just
if I'm a contender, I'm absolutely standing with both of them.
Even if you can get Genty
would be tough. I'd probably take Genty over either of them. I would. I would take Genty over either of them. But I don't think I would take Hampton over either of them straight up.
No, I think that would require something else on top of Hampton, which I'm not sure.
And as a contender, I don't know that I want to make that move for someone who wasn't as highly rated a prospect as Genty was. So,
yeah.
Well, we really do need to talk about renaming this show. I know Dynasty in 62 really doesn't have the same ring to it, but I really enjoyed the conversation today. I hope that for everybody listening, you guys were able to take some of the ideas we discussed, figure out where you're falling on these situations, because the way that you deal with these injuries is going to reshape your roster and your entire league situation. So take some time before games start on Sunday. Get it figured out. If you can close some deals before then, get that done.
Yep.
But until next week, Tim, it has been a pleasure to talk to you again. Everybody, if you have not, please subscribe. It helps us out so much. The button is right down there. All you got to do is click it. You get notified anytime we go live. So hit up the website as well. We've got a ton of content coming out. I know Tim and I have been grinding out a ton of DFS and underdog content. We've got weekly waiver information. We've been working on pulling in the NFL injury report onto the website. So that's a new item out there as well. You've got Brian and Sean have been running the Get Tilted podcast for some more DFS content. And as always, you've got Josh Kimmel coming on and just dropping the knowledge. Bold takes that, he just ends up being right way too often for my liking.
Same.
So, all right, guys, until next week, we will see you later. This has been Dynasty in 30.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.